Shana Tova. My name is Dan Jones, President of our congregation. On behalf of our clergy, Board of Directors, and staff of Congregation Beth Israel, I'd like to welcome you today. Before our services begin, I'd like to share some information with you in case you are a newcomer. Shana Tova. My name is Dan Jones, President of our congregation. On behalf of our clergy, Board of Directors, and staff, Shana Tova. My name is Dan Jones, President of our... Shana Tova. My name is Dan Jones, President of our congregation. On behalf of our clergy, Board of Directors, and staff of Congregation Beth Israel, I'd like to welcome you today. Before our services begin, I'd like to share some information with you in case you are a newcomer to our community. As at our High Holy Day services in years past, we have enhanced security protocols from our normal operations. Thank you for your patience and cooperation in participating and complying with these protocols. If at any time you observe anything that you think our security personnel should be aware of, please contact a staff member or badged volunteer. As you've probably heard many times by now, if you see something, please say something. In the unlikely case of an emergency, please note the exits at the rear of the sanctuary and in each corner. These are in addition to the 3 entry doors at the front. The social hall has emergency exits at each corner of the room. Upon exiting for whatever emergency, please move a safe distance away from the building and follow any staff member instructions you may be given. In the event of an evacuation, if you are able, please consider helping any who are less physically able and may require assistance. As always, our focus at Beth Israel is to make our High Holy Day services both as meaningful and as safe as possible for our congregants. Thank you for your attention, thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for your understanding. I look forward to being in community with all of you as we celebrate the High Holy Days together. L'Shana Tova.
Yizkor So remember, the Torah service has no hakafah. The Torah service has no hakafah. There's no hakafah.
So Ryan Tobin, good afternoon. We're almost there. The afternoon Torah and Haftarah service is going to lead us towards a spiritual goal that perhaps we didn't even know existed. So what I want to invite you all to do, what I want to invite us all to do, is to open ourselves to the possibilities that lay ahead of us. We know what's in our mouths. We don't necessarily know where the Mahasor will lead us. We begin on page 329 with Seder Kriyat Torah. To invite you to please rise.
Kimetzion.
Adonai HaMamlacha V'amid na'aseh lechol lerosh. Please be seated. We are approaching the end of Yom Kippur, and that may be the scariest part of the day. Since Kol Nidre last night, we have fasted, donned white garments, and come together as a community to remind ourselves of our potential to be our best selves. However, as we prepare to re-enter the world beyond these holy moments, we confront a disheartening reality. The world remains largely unchanged. This tension between our aspirations and the challenges of the world mirrors the themes we find in our Torah and Haftarah readings this Yom Kippur afternoon. Our Torah reading comes from Leviticus and is known as the Holiness Code. Amongst other things, the text implores us to embrace justice, honesty, compassion, and mercy in our interactions with others. It famously commands us to love our neighbors as ourselves, reminding us of the qualities that make us upstanders in the world. These teachings provide us with a blueprint for how we can navigate a world that often falls short of these ideals. Meanwhile, Jonah brings us back to reality. In the beginning of Jonah's story, we read, Adonai's commanding words came to Jonah. Rise up, go to Nineveh, the big city, call them out, for the seeds of evil they've sown have come up before me. So Jonah rose up, only to flee to Tarshish, turning away from God's face. He went down to Jaffa and found a boat going to Tarshish. He paid the fare, and he went down on it with them to Tarshish, turning away from God's face. Jonah struggles with his role as a prophet because he struggles with the imperfections of the world around him. In essence, he says, I'm here for a higher purpose, but I'm surrounded by all these idiots who won't do what they're supposed to. Why aren't they perfect? Why do they make mistakes? I shouldn't even have to have this job. So those people in Nineveh are awful? Feh, let them rot. Why should I care? Not in my backyard, not my problem. Yet, as we conclude this sacred day, we are reminded that Yom Kippur is not just about personal transformation within the confines of our community. It is a call to take the lessons learned within these sacred moments and carry them with us into the imperfect world beyond. Our journey is not complete until we embrace the challenge of living out these ideals in our daily lives, even when it seems daunting or the world falls short of our aspirations. To call our aliyot this afternoon, we'd like to invite up Irv Cass.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to announce the Torah readers and those chanting Aliyot this afternoon. For the first Aliyah, our Torah reader will be Zachary Habenstock. Chanting the blessing before will be Lori Shearer and Brian Habenstock. The blessing after will be chanted by Cheryl Rowling.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bacha Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'naten Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor. Daber El Kol Adat Bnei Yisrael. Va'amarta Aleichem Kiddushim Tiyu. Ki Kadosh Ani Adonai Elohechem. Ish imo ve'aviv tira'u ve'et shabtotai tishmaru. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Al tifnu el ha'elilim ve'lohei masecha lo ta'asu lachem. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
For the second Aliyah, our Torah reader will be Abigail Weissman. Chanting the blessing before will be Jim Spivak, Roger Achetel, Robert McNeese, Jerome Hall, and Gordon Glenn. The blessing after will be chanted by Jane and Bert Lazaro.
Yusheni.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ufkirtahem aketir tehem lo tahale pe'at sadha victor velekaketirha lo telake v'harmeha lo telel uferet harmeha lo telake lani v'lager tarzovotam ani Adonai Elohehem. Lo tiknovu velo tehahashu velo teshakru ishba'amito.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For the third Aliyah, our Torah reader will be Gordon Glenn. Chanting the blessing before will be Marty Stern and Gordon Glenn. The blessing after will be chanted by Alyssa Schuchter and Stan Fader.
Yamdu Shlishi.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Mipnei sevatakum v'yardata p'nei zaken v'yareta me'olecha ani Adonai v'chi yagur itacha ger b'artzechem lo tonu oto ke'ezrat mikem ye'yelachem hager Hagar itechem, v'hafta kamocha, k'grim hitem ba'eretz Mitzrayim, ani Adonai Elohechem, lo ta'asu avel b'mishpat, b'amidah, b'mishkol, uvamsura, mosnei, tzedek avnei tzedek, Ephad tzedek, bin tzedek yeh lachem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. Ushmartem et kol chukotai, ve'et kol mishpatai, v'asitem otam. Ani Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nata lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'mitochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
It is my honor to call to the bima the Torah lifter, Kevin Berkowitz. The Torah dresser is Alex Schiller. Torah holders are Heather Plesko-Weissman and Michael Weissman.
We're on page 340. Won't you please rise? Yisrael.
now call to the bima Annette Volra, who will chant the blessing before Haftarah. Chanting Haftarah this afternoon is Ella Berkowitz. Chanting the blessing after Haftarah will be Joshua Volrath.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim veratza b'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher haTorah uf Moshe avdo uf Yisrael amo uvinevi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Vayihi devar Adonai el Yonah ben Amitai lemor kum lech el Ninveh ha'ir hagdola ukra lecha ki alta ra'atan lefanai vayakam Yonah livroach tarshisha milifnei Adonai vayered yapo vayimsa onya ba'a tarshish vayitain sechara vayered bach lavo imachem tarshisha milifnei Adonai V'Adonai Heitil Ruach Gadolah El Hayam Vayihi Sar Gadol Bayam Bahonya Yitzbah Lehishaver.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Sur kol haolamim tzadik b'kol hadorot Hayal hane'eman haomer v'yoseh hamedaber u'mekayim shek kol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah v'yal havodah v'yal hanevim v'yal yom ha'kippurim hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu litusha v'linucha ulechavod utifaret ala kol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed udvarcha emet v'kayam lad Baruch atah Adonai Melech nochel v'soleach laotenu v'latanot amot bet Yisrael u'ma'avir ashmotenu b'chal shana v'shana Melech al kol ha'aretz megadesh Yisrael v'yom ha'kippurim.
Amen.
This time I'd like to call upon Michelle Vanessa and Lexi Berkowitz to open our ark. Will you please rise?
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return to the land of your soul.
Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn and reborn.
Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn and reborn. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are. Born, born, born. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn and reborn. Return again, return to the land of your soul.
The Aleinu is traditionally the closing prayer of every Jewish worship experience, which begins, "It is incumbent upon us to praise the God of all." The prayer, which many of you are familiar, expresses fervent hopes for a time when the power of God's beauty will sweep away idolatry so that the truth of God's presence would repair the world. It's majestic, it's powerful, it evokes faith and the potential. In the prayer we sing, we bow low and we prostrate ourselves in thanks before the source of all sources, the Holy One, blessed is God. Most of the year, when we chant those words, we bend our knees and we bow our heads, a kind of symbolic bowing. Not so on this day. Traditionally, in this moment, we actually prostrate ourselves. Knees first, then hands, then forehead. For me, prayer enables to ascend the ladder between ourselves and our source, to move through the worlds of thought and emotion, and ultimately into action. Prayer has many different pathways, and the prayerful moments that reach into my soul are those which move me out of my limited sense of self and into connection with something greater. Prostration during the Great Aleinu motivates me that way. It's a physical experience that I carry with me, and perhaps it will enrich what follows in the new year ahead. If you so choose to join in this physical act, I invite you to find space around the sanctuary, in the aisles, or in the back, or in the rows. If you choose to join us, I invite you to do so. The act is powerful. It's something a little awkward. It's something a little uncomfortable. And it's something you can lean into your vulnerability and open yourselves up a bit and share if you so desire. Page 432, we join together for the Aleinu. I invite you to please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol la'tei gedula le'yotzeh bereishit shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot ve'lo zamanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו כמו המון העולם. לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא הקדוש
Will you please be seated? We take a moment in transition from our Aleinu into what we call avodah. Avodah in modern Hebrew means work. In liturgical understanding of reference, it means sacred service. And what is that exactly? It's the moment that we're invited into prayer. There are three pillars on which we stand: Torah, a study or instruction; avodah, the sacred service; and gimilu chasadim, of acts of loving kindness. And when we enter into this space, we're working our way from the foundational pieces, as we saw last night when we removed the Torahs and the ark was empty like a coffin. We're moving to the depths of our souls, and as we start to build and grow on the ladder to Neilah, we start to ascend. But we need the steps of ascension in order for us to open our hearts. So in these moments where we're going to be climbing with those steps, we invite you to take this time at your pace. There'll be music and melodies that feed into and are threaded into the thematics of each of these steps. We invite you to take it at your pace, to use the prayer book as a guide to open your hearts, to wander a little bit with the rhythms and the recesses of your own souls. And we begin on page 448.
ושירים מרות. ענים זמירות ושירים מרות. נפשי חמדה בצל ידיך, לדעת כל רצונך, כי אליך נפשי, נפשי
Page 451. A Song of Ascent for David. Jerusalem, place where each is welcome, all belong, for this is the place toward which people ascend.
שמחתי באומרים לי, בית אדוני נלך, עומדות היו רגלינו, בשערייך ירושלים, ירושלים הבנויה. Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishtayu Avayim, Yehi Shalom Bethel, Shalom
Page 453, our first step. May our eyes be open to the presence of the One in all things. Through contemplating the divine, may we ascend toward the holy.
Page 457. At the top of page 472. We confess, in our generation, faith is partial and frayed, like an old talus, threadbare and torn. Faith has been worn thin by doubts, torn by ambivalence. What do we see when we look at its knotted fringe? Reminders of mitzvot, or something tangled coming apart, a reminder of all our misgivings. We confess. Our forebears called you Tzur Yisrael, Tzur Olamim, Rock of Israel, Rock of all time and space. We confess our longing for the faith that sustained them. We confess our need and desire to attach our hopes to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehitvadot. Blessed are you, eternal presence, by whose power we sanctify life through the mitzvah of confessing the wrongs we have done. Page 478.
Mishpat
chaletan. Yigal kamayim mishpat ustaka kenachaletan. Yigal kamayim mishpat ustaka kenachaletan.
Page 490. Our prayers take aim at eternity. We bless the mystery of life. Our prayers are the birth mothers of hope. We bless the giver of life. Our prayers teach us to make distinctions. We bless the wisdom of life. Our prayers are the currents of the soul. We bless the breath of life. Our prayers are a clearing in the forests. We bless the stillness of life. Our prayers ebb and flow like the tides. We bless the ocean of life. Our prayers carry us in loving arms. We bless the goodness of life.
You are the one, for this I pray, that I may have the strength to be alone, to see the world, to stand among the trees and all the living things, that I may stand alone and offer prayers and talk to you. You are the one to whom I do belong. And I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you. And give you all that's in my heart. May all the foliage of the field, all grasses, trees, and plants awaken at my calling. This I pray, and send their life into my words of prayer, so that my speech, my thoughts, and my prayers will be made whole, and through the spirits of all growing things, and we know that everything is one, because we know that everything is you. You are the one, for this I pray. I ask you, God, to hear my prayers that pour out from my heart. I stand before you. I, like water, lift my hands to you in prayer, and grant me strength, and grant me strength to stand alone. You are the one to whom I do belong, and I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you, and give you all that's in my heart. You are the and I'll sing my soul to you.
Page 497.
Page 501.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
503. Invite us all to join together in the middle of the page. So we say the blessing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al hasimcha. Blessed are you, eternal presence, by whose power we experience holiness through joy. Page 505. You who are mortal, God has taught you what is good and what the Eternal requires of you, only this, to do justice, to love goodness, and to walk humbly with your God. Page 506. Let's join together. When evil darkens our world, let us be the bearers of light. When fists are clenched in self-righteous rage, let our hands be open for the sake of peace. When injustice slams doors on the ill, the poor, the old, and the stranger, let us pry the doors open. Where shelter is lacking, let us be builders. Where food and clothing are needed, let us be providers. Where knowledge is denied, let us be champions of learning. When dissent is stifled, let our voices speak truth to power. When the earth and its creatures are threatened, let us be their guardians. When bias, greed, and bigotry erode our country's values, let us proclaim liberty throughout the land. In the places where no one acts like a human being, let us bring courage, let us bring compassion, let us bring humanity. As before we begin to segue and transition into our Yizkor service, I'd just like to point out two of the individuals who are accompanying Dan Jones, our president, on the bima this afternoon, Joth Layton and Natanya Cranford, members of our board who join us up here today, the newest of our board members that are with us, but many years as congregants in this beloved congregation. I'd invite you to turn to page, first shake out a little bit. I want everybody to shake out a little bit. Just give yourself a little, if you need to stand up, if you need to sit down a little bit, just stretch out. It's important. Give yourself a little, it's a lot of sitting. I get it. So just give yourself a moment. Don't go anywhere. Just give yourself a moment. If we can come together. I'd invite you to all turn to page 546 in your Machzorim. The traditional Yizkor prayer asks God to remember the souls of our loved ones and to shelter them from for eternity. But the Yizkor service on Yom Kippur has significance beyond the prayer itself. This is a moment set apart for solitary reflection, an opportunity to fulfill a sacred obligation, and it is a time to feel the physical and emotional closeness of community, the presence of other people who know what we have been through because they have been through it too. At Yizkor, we see the sorrow in one another's eyes. As the number 7 is a Jewish symbol of wholeness and holiness, our Yizkor service offers 7 ways to reflect on loss and memory, grief and healing. We choose, alone and together, from among these diverse lights. Our days, like the grass of the field, like flowers in the meadow, vanish in a momentary gust of wind, gone, never to be seen again. But God's love is infinite and with us forever. God's goodness reaches far into the future. This is the gift of the covenant. Page 540.
שלא ייגמר
I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the hearts, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
La Kol Zman, from the book of Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season and a time for every experience under the heavens.
La kol zman veit lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. La kol zman veit lechol chefetz tachat Eit la ledet ve'eit la mut, eit la tat ve'eit la korna tua, eit la rog ve'eit lirpo, eit livrot ve'eit livnot. La kol zman veit lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. La kol zman veit lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim. A time for birth and a time for death, a time to plant and a time to uproot the planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear and a time to build. La Veit lechol chefetz tachat hashamayim.
Traditionally, The last act of kindness we can do for someone we love is to accompany them to their final resting place, wherever that may be. From the moment of death until their burial, we try not to leave our loved ones alone. Standing then at the graveside of family and longtime friends, it's hard to leave that sacred place. Everyone else is gone, and yet we stand there hoping for one more moment, trying to find a way to say goodbye. We are praying the traditional Jewish hope of a heavenly Jerusalem, Yerushalayim Lamala, will be a truth, that someday our souls will connect with theirs, and we will, as the Torah says, be gathered to our ancestors. For now, what we have is memory. As a rabbi who has been sadly privileged to lead many funerals, I have walked away from countless graves, and the spirits of the dead walk with me. Somehow I cannot leave them there. Their souls live on inside of me and need to be remembered. Each person has something to teach us. And I would like to share just 4 of their stories. I want to be buried as a Jew, he told us, his rabbis. I am dying, and whatever time I have left, I want to be inside this community as a Jew. I have been living in a Jewish family and really practicing Judaism for 45 years since I married, took my Introduction to Judaism course here, and raised 4 beautiful Jewish children. I need to finish this process and go to the mikvah. I really formally want to be a Jew. This was not an easy act for someone frail, aging, and goses lamut, in the process of dying, but he was fierce and determined to experience this Jewish ritual. And so we went. With great difficulty he immersed, and when he rose up out of the water, he recited, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. With a clear voice, he declared himself a Jew in the presence of rabbis and family and a few friends. The water carried him through his dream and prayer, and some weeks later he died a Jew. When we left the grave after the funeral, I kept turning around to take one last look, but my heart was lifted by the memory of the water. It carried his soul to life. Another story. A few years later, I heard on my phone messages the sound of a familiar voice. We had started cantorial school together in Jerusalem. He was ordained cantor by the Jewish Theological Seminary in 1993, the same year the Hebrew Union College ordained me. He found a magnificent job in Pennsylvania and a home overlooking the Susquehanna River. He called that day to say he had cancer and truly little time, and asked if I would come to visit. And so I flew out east, and when I arrived, after hours of flying and driving, he did not want to see me. Suddenly, my visit meant to him that he was truly dying. I begged my way into the house and then into the room. Looking out over the river, we sang together Israeli songs we had sung in Jerusalem. The sound of the flowing water carried us and accompanied us through our time together. And when I left his room, I knew those sounds would be my last memories. He was not yet 50 years old, and I took his soul with me back to San Diego. Deeply personal story. My cousin Sarah survived the Holocaust in Auschwitz II, Birkenau camp. She was a nurse for the doctor of death, Yosef Mengele, and participated against her will in many terrible surgeries. They were experiences and memories that would forever torment her. And when I met her, I saw how those memories were clearly etched into her psyche. In 1945, after the camps were liberated, Sarah crossed the Levantine Sea and arrived in Israel. That is where she married my cousin and gave life. Her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren continue to thrive in Israel. Her desperately strong will and the sea carried her to a new life. I was not in Israel when she died, but I will make it a priority to find her grave, place a stone, and perhaps, as is a tradition of Persian Jews at a funeral, pour rose water over her grave. She is more than family, and I will carry her spirit with me. As I'm sharing with you, I'm struck by how often life-giving water is a part of these particular life stories. They have that in common. But more importantly, they are about how those last experiences are a part of the rich legacy that is left for us to carry from those we love. Think of Moses. Water is a part of his story, from birth floating on the river Nile until the last day of his life, looking over the river Jordan to the promised land. There is no burial site for Moses. No one will stand by his grave. And yet, our people carry his soul and his teachings with us from generation to generation. Final story. Just 2 weeks ago, we lost an extraordinary soul, not yet 38 years old, a Ben Bait, son of our community, a feisty bar mitzvah and teenager as I remember him, a loving husband as I saw him while performing his wedding in Hawaii, under a chuppah, under a tent, in the pouring rain. Life-giving water was everywhere. At the end of his young life, he was a man who refused to give up and fought every minute for the remarkable life he was given. He loved our tradition and made the last hours of his life full of joy and love for family and friends. And when I left his grave, I let the reminder of rain falling on the Hawaiian island and his fighting spirit, his smiling face turned to his bride, be the memories of his soul I will always carry. The people who attended that funeral were privileged to fulfill that last act of kindness, Halvayat Hamet, the accompaniment of the dead to their final resting place. Sometimes that last act of kindness cannot happen. Whatever the reason, the souls of those we love still become part of our souls. Today, now, we are all carrying with us the buoyant souls of family and friends who no longer walk with us on this earth. This is the part of the afterlife we do know about. Hold tight to the souls you treasure this Yizkor, and know you are sustaining a loving tradition, keeping their spirits alive in your hearts. Zichronam livracha, may they always walk together with you. Their memories, a blessing. Page 556.
Esae
page 572. When we ask God to remember the souls of our departed at Yizkor, we request more than a mere mental act. We pray implicitly that by focusing on our loved ones' souls, God will take action on their behalf and save them from whatever pain they may be suffering, wherever they may be. At the same time, the implication is that this act of remembrance also constitutes a guarantee of Jewish continuity, well beyond just those we remember and far beyond us as well. In remembering and in asking for God's remembrance, we request divine help, and in continuing our people's trajectory beyond ourselves to achieve the ultimate aims of our people's history. Yizkor is, in the end, not a prayer for the dead, but a promise by the living. Please take a few moments for personal reflection of those who you are remembering in love. The Yizkor prayers can be found on pages 570 to 577. Page 583.
My soul I give to you.
page 593. The 23rd Psalm does not make promises that cannot be kept. The end of all evil, the eradication of suffering and pain, sunshine instead of shadows. It makes but one promise. Only this: you are not alone.
Mizmor leDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar, binot deshe yarbitzeini, al mei menuchot yenahaleini. Nafshi eshovev, v'yancheni v'maglei tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki elech begeit zalmavet, lo yirora, ki ata imadi. Shivtecha umishantecha, hema yenachamuni. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorirai, dishanta v'Hashem en roshi, kosirvaya, ach tov v'chesed yodefuni, kol yemei chayai, v'shavti bevet Adonai le'orech yamim.
Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us, and these are the names on our lips and in our hearts.
Edward Warren Barkanic, Jerry Barnett, Nona Ray Barth, Stuart Benkel, Elliot Jonas Bergman, Mitchell Berner, Jean Blonder Snitz, Leatrice Bloom, Malcolm Brahms, Josefina Branina, Wendy Bratt, Allison Allie Campbell Foman, Amelia Chait, Pauline Chapin, Dorothy Cohen, Chaim Cohen, Joyce Louise Conger Layton, Maurice Moshe Ben Shmuel Kornofsky, Barbara Kosand, Francis Dukoff, Elliot Joel Epner, Ronald Farkas, Alec Fertel, Gary Fink, Marcia Fram, Rita Fisher, Natalie Givon, Jeffrey Goldstein, Janet Gallico Scafonis, Michael Goodman, James Jim Harris, Jeffrey Heilbrunn, Stanley Howard Helsel, Rabbi Morris Hirschman, Shirley Hoffman, Dorothy Homer,
Ellen Hutt, James J. Genowine, Chuck Cantor, Howard Kay, Karen Kopel Kaunitz, Lucy Kramer, Gloria Kuhn, John Kuhn, Roberto Lahana, Anita Irene Landy, Ruth Landecker, Edith Lang, Anita Lanner, Lainey Lesser Mark, Jay Levitt, Carol Levy, Edith Levy, Jacqueline Lewicki, Esther Lone, Bernard Luther, Jerry Lyons, Michelle Mayers, Lucy Martinez, Shaul G. Mastery, Joseph Mirabile, Sage Moradazadeh, Roz Myers, Alan Avraham Ben Malik Nixon, Robin Orenstein, Larry Oster, Yvonne Esther Devora Peck, Sally Peterson, Beverly King Pollock, Gloria Reedy, Lois Richmond, Hilda Roller, Esther Rosenberg, Saul Rosenberg,
Ina Rosenthal Uri, Arlene Rossen, Dean Rostovsky, Ivan Rostovsky, Neil Sachs, Lori Scher, Aubrey Schneider, Erica Schwab, Martha Schwartz, Jerry Siegel, Raisa Sherendo, Robert Shearer, Bella Silverman, Nicholas Isaac Simon, Amy Singer, Lynn Slotkin, William Snyder, Cindy Spector, Bernard Stein, Melvin Stern, Suzanne Stern, Mayo Mickey Stiegler, Hedva Suprin, Gerald Trimble, Phyllis Tucker, Natalie Wallen, John Weil, Ann Weinbaum, Lillian Weiner, Cameron Weiss, Fred Whiteson Jr., David Doc Weston, John Harley Jack Winkleman, Joe Zacklin, Michael Ziegler, Christy Zeke, Patty Zeke Peters White.
We rise for El Malay Rachamim, page 598, a prayer for our souls.
El Malay Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kiddushim Uturim, Kizor Rakia, Mazirim, Lenishmot, Hirkirenu, Shalchu Leolamam, Barachamim, Yastirem Beseter Kenafav, Leolamim, Vitzror Bitzrachim, Et Nishmatam, Adonai hu nachalatam, V'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavam, v'nomar Amen.
Together, merciful God, God Most High, let there be perfect rest for the souls of our loved ones who have gone into eternity. May they find shelter in your presence among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May they find a home in you, and may they rest in peace. Together we say, Amen.
Page 606. We join together in Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach urte v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol Beit Israel, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam ulamei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela ule'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories ever be for a blessing, as together we say, Amen. Amen. We now turn to Neilah, our closing service. Please note, during this entire service, we will be standing. If you feel the need to sit, it is okay. We turn to page 612. Long ago, the temple gates were locked at dusk. So too, at this hour, the gates of Yom Kippur begin to close. Have we done all that needed to be done? Said everything that needed to be said? The gates of God's compassion never close, but soon enough, our lives close in on us. Now, in the silence of the soul, now before the holy day comes to an end, release the unshed tears, the deepest prayers locked in our hearts. Page 614, we join together for El Nora Alila. El Nora Alila, El Nora Alila, Amzela Merila, Ishanta Merila, Mitzvah Misparkui, Lecha Ayin Nosi, Saladin Bechila, Bishatanila, El Nora Alila, El Nora Alila, Hamzekanu Mechila, Bishatanila, Shofim Lechanavsham, Mechefisham Vechasham, Hamtzim Mechila, Bishatanila, El Nora Alila, El Nora Alila, Hamzelanu Mechila, Bishatanila, Ayela em lesitra, Ve'atzem yemera, Ve'chot meim lehodot ulegila, Bishatanila, El Nora Alila, El Nora Alila, Hamzelanu Mechila, Bishatanila. page 620.
Yitkadol, v'yitkadosh, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alema, Divrach Yirutei, V'yamlich Malechutei.
Top of page 622. Together, this day is holy to our God. Do not be sad, for your rejoicing in the Holy One is the source of your strength. We continue with the Amidah, noting at this moment we change the words of Zochreinu to Chotmenu, from inscribe us to seal us. Page 622.
Adonai, Sefatai Tivta, Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tivta, Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Adonai, Sefatai Tivta, Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tivta, Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה לה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים. וחותמנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. וחותמנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה לה, לה לה, יא לה לה
מלך עוזר מושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם וזרוע צרה.
Page 628.
ייתנו לנו שערי צדק, נעבור בם נודע. 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 ייתנו לנו שערי צדק, נעבור בם נודע.
Page 641. Together. Before the gate is locked and shuttered, before every word is said and uttered, before I have something different, something other, before the mind has lost its way, before possessions are packed and put away, before the pavement hardens, here to stay, before the apertures of flutes are sealed, before the laws of nature are revealed, before the vessels break and can't be healed, before doctrines and edicts are imposed, before the hand of God has closed, before we rise to leave this place and go.
We continue with our traditional Ashamnu, page 653.
Ashamnu, Agadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi, Hamasnu, Tafamnu Sheker, Yatsnura, Kizavnu, Latsnu, Maradnu, Niatsnu, Sararnu, Avinu, Hashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Ore,
Page 664, Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu V'Aneinu, Yevanu Masi, Aseh Imanu, Tzedaka V'Chesed, Aseh Imanu.
665. We join together. As we are sealed, open us. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your hand. As the book of life is closed and sealed, open our hearts, open our hands. Let those who ask forgiveness and those who gave forgiveness depart this place in peace. Let all God seekers and soul searchers of this day depart this place inspired and renewed. Together, let us build a community of commitment. Let us, all of us, be sealed this day. Gamar Chatima Tova, sealed for goodness and sealed for life. B'Sefer Chaim Tovim, sealed in the book of life and good, eager to taste life's sweetness, to enjoy the fruit of our labors, to bring light to the darkness and joy where sorrow dwells. Be sealed for a year of Torah and soulful searching. Be sealed for a year of kindness, good deeds, and love. As the book of life is closed and sealed, open our hands, open our hearts. Page 668.
Amen. Bialma divra kirutei viamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayetechol beit Yisrael b'agala uvizaman kariv v'yimeru amen amen Ishmera Neilah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alema tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alema v'yimeru amen tikaber tzilon בית ישראל, קודם מבוהון, תשמעיה ויאמרו אמן. ישמעו רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו
As we leave this holy space, we remember the work that we have done over the past 10 days. We remember all the reasons why we said, I am sorry, to our parents, our children, our families, and our friends. Together, we also remember that you, God, are always with and protect us and forgive us. We thank you, God, for also giving us these days to celebrate with family and friends. And remember that we are part of a larger Jewish community. We look forward to joining together again next year, and once again hearing the sound of the shofar.
Page 672.
Shema Adonai Elohim
Everyone who has a shofar, please come join us.
Tkiya Gedola.
As we prepare to transition into making Havdalah, you received little candles. I invite you to share them, link to one another, join together.
La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei beri hagafen borei beri hagafen Hanavi, Eliyahu, Hatishbi, Eliyahu, 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 Hagiladi, Bimera ve'ameinu, Yavor Eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera Oyavo, Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David, Bimera Oyavo, Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera Oyavo, Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David, Bimera Oyavo, Eleinu Mashiach, Mashiach ben David.
Shana Tova Umetuka, a sweet and joyous New Year.